The summer of 1921 was coming to an end when Eleanor Whitcomb, a landscape artist from London, arrived in the quiet village of Combe. She had spent the past few months traveling through Devon, sketching and painting the rolling countryside, the rugged coastline, and the charming old churches that dotted the land. Combe had been a last-minute addition to her itinerary, recommended by a fellow artist who had praised the ancient church of St. Peter ad Vincula for its unique architecture and peaceful atmosphere. She had intended only a brief visit, perhaps an afternoon of sketching the stone arches and stained glass before moving on to her next destination. But Combe had other plans for her, and what she witnessed within that church would haunt her for the rest of her life. It was a warm afternoon when Eleanor stepped inside the church. Sunlight streamed through the tall colored windows, casting fragmented hues of red, blue, and gold onto the stone floor. The scent of aged wood and lingering incense filled the air, giving the place a sense of timelessness. She walked slowly down the nave, admiring the intricately carved rood screen that separated the chancel from the rest of the church. It was beautifully crafted, an echo of medieval craftsmanship long past. Then, as she approached, something changed. A whisper of movement caught her attention. She turned toward the screen door, which stood closed just moments before. Now it was open. Her breath caught in her throat as, through the doorway, figures began to emerge. A bishop stepped forward first, tall and dignified, clad in a flowing robe of cream and gold. His mitre gleamed in the dim light, his crozier clutched firmly in one hand. Behind him, priests in long robes followed in solemn procession. Their expressions were serene, their steps precise, as if performing a ritual lost to time. Then came 6 sturdy men, their faces weathered, their bodies strong. They carried a great wooden tray, balanced carefully between them. Upon it sat something extraordinary, a model of a walled city, crafted from wax in a soft fawn color. It was exquisitely detailed, its towers and battlements rising proudly, miniature streets winding through its heart. And behind them, more figures joined the procession, ladies in flowing gowns, noble courtiers in velvet, peasants in humble linen, all dressed in the fashion of the 14th century. They moved in absolute silence. Eleanor stood frozen, unable to breathe, her heart hammering in her chest. The centuries had unraveled before her eyes. She turned her head, expecting, hoping to see others reacting to the spectacle before her. Surely someone else in the church must have seen this. But no. At the far end of the nave, a lone elderly man knelt in prayer, oblivious to the procession passing before him. A young woman lit a candle near the altar, her expression calm, undisturbed. Eleanor's fingers trembled as she clutched her sketchbook to her chest. The figures before her seemed as real as the stone walls of the church, yet they were unseen by anyone else. Then, as suddenly as it had appeared, the vision began to fade. The bishop stepped through the chancel arch, his form growing translucent. One by one, the figures followed, until only the 6 men remained, carefully carrying their mysterious city into the shadows. The last flicker of gold embroidery vanished. The screen door stood closed once more. Silence returned. Eleanor staggered backward, her breath ragged. Had she imagined it? No, it had been too vivid, too detailed, too real. She had just witnessed something impossible. Over the following days, Eleanor remained in Combe, determined to make sense of what she had seen. She spoke to villagers, historians, and priests, searching for any clue that could explain the vision. And then she found something. Centuries ago, Combe had been connected to the wool trade, its prosperity linked to the medieval town of Calais, which was once an English stronghold on the continent. She learned that during the 100 Years' War, English merchants, priests, and nobles would make offerings for the safety of Calais, sometimes even commissioning wax models of the city's symbolic prayers for its protection. Had she witnessed a long-lost ceremonial offering? Had the spirits of those who once lived in the village returned, reenacting a forgotten devotion to a city long lost to history? Or had she seen something even older, a lingering echo of time, forever imprinted within the stones of the church? Eleanor left Combe in early September, her mind filled with unanswered questions. But she did not leave empty. She sketched every detail of the figures she had seen: the bishop's ornate robe, the wax city, the faces of the courtiers and peasants. Her drawings, later shown to historians, sent shivers through those who examined them. For in the folds of those garments, in the design of that fawn-colored city, they saw something unmistakable: the precise style of the 14th century, documented with such accuracy that it defied explanation. Some called it a gifted imagination, but Eleanor knew the truth. She had witnessed something far greater than a dream. And though she would go on to paint landscapes and cathedrals across England, it was the vision in Vincula Church that remained her greatest masterpiece, one drawn not on canvas, but in memory, forever etched in time. To this day, no one has been able to fully explain what Eleanor saw that summer afternoon in 1921. The church still stands, quiet and unassuming. Visitors pass through its doors, unaware of the ancient procession that may still walk unseen among them. But some say if you stand in the nave at the right moment, when the light hits the chancel, just so you may catch the faint scent of wax and incense lingering in the air. And if you listen closely, you may hear the soft rustle of robes and the distant echo of footsteps, long since faded from history. Perhaps, even now, the bishop and his followers walk their eternal path, carrying with them a forgotten city, forever lost in time. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, follow, subscribe, and comment below.